Hey, Becca here, and today on A Life Learned, I'm going to tell you why I started my YouTube channel.
Ideas are bulletproof.
The purpose of this channel was to share all the things I've learned in life throughout my experiences, and well, unfortunately, those experiences have a bit of a rough beginning. I was unfortunately born into an impoverished environment where my parents weren't really ready to be parents. Both of them had their own issues and were somewhat wound up in them, so I basically had a relatively average version of a neglectful childhood. I didn't have it at the worst, but I certainly didn't have what I needed either, and this led to actually childhood PTSD as a result of neglect. Growing up, I always felt like it was every man for himself in our house, so I really had a lot of emotional issues, many boundary issues, many issues in general, because I wasn't being provided with the emotional training or the support that would usually be provided within a family. This caused me to make the decision to go ahead and move in with someone who eventually adopted me and became my adoptive father. Unfortunately, despite his best intentions, our situation got rather abusive, and I went through a great deal more situations that increased my PTSD situation. Some people have found it a little odd about me, but I've actually always found it relatively easy to talk about all the problems and hard times that I've been through. If anything, I actually find it therapeutic to talk about all the hard times. And with that, one of the main reasons I started this channel was to start a video log to log the 5 years that I was in an incredibly abusive situation, to get it out and to help me work through it. But I also started the channel to share all of the things I've learned throughout my education as well. Despite all the abuse that I went through throughout my childhood and teens, I was always very persistent to keep with my schooling. Funny enough, despite the neglect of my mother, she did say something that really changed my perspective on things when I was a kid. I was following her around like a little puppy, as I did, and she turned to me and she said, "Honey, don't grow up like me. Finish school." And looking around at the house I was living in, the poverty and the unhappiness that I experienced, I really put it all together and felt that it was our lack of material that was the reason I had so many problems, and thus I was going to finish school and I was gonna get a job and I was not going to end up like her. Unfortunately, I've since learned that it's a lot more than just materials. I mean, getting an education is what helped me realize that it's emotional problems as well as my post-traumatic stress that has created all of these issues I'm now dealing with. But at the time, it was still really helpful that she said that because it pushed me to pursue my education. With that, I finished high school, did a victory lap, went to university, actually went back to high school, and then back to university again. I've done 4 full years of university, though I hadn't finished, but I've gained a lot in the time that I did go, and I really want to share all the things I've learned with everyone. Throughout my education, I've learned a great deal about many of the things that I feel very passionate about today, such as environmentalism as well as socialism. I feel it's very important that everyone have a better understanding of the world around them in general in order to respect it and to help us in maintaining it and keeping it as beautiful as it can be. I've also unfortunately experienced a great deal of injustice, both being impoverished as well as becoming ill at different times for different reasons. And so I do believe a lot for rooting for the little guy, the minority, or whoever feels that they aren't heard. Equality and acceptance are one of my biggest beliefs, and so that's another thing that I really hope to share on my channel. And on top of that, I do just like to learn a lot, so in continuing my research, I want to continue to share everything I've learned. My life has been very difficult at times, but I feel that I've grown and learned from these situations, and I've offered friends and family advice out of the things I've learned from these situations, and these people really seem to value my perspective and the way that I've learned to see things, trying to be optimistic and more positive in general, despite how difficult it can be. So with that, I mainly started this channel to share all that I've learned, both through my education, through my hard times, through my good times, through my life in general, and to contribute to the world through the education that I love to gain. Starting this video was one of the many learning experiences that I want to share with the world, so I hope you enjoyed my video, and please join me next week where I try again to share a little something I've learned in life.